a lot more than I can on that.
The Attorney General's office sent out a letter to Congress where he calls this subdivision a primitive subdivision. Would you qualify it as a primitive subdivision?
No.
Sounds to me like you have water, you have sewer, correct?
That's correct.
And you obviously have power. Yeah, this letter was sent out on October 19th. Do you know when his people were out there investigating?
Who's?
The Attorney General's office. Did anybody come to your office?
They did. They came on a tour with lawmakers that we invited out. We had 4 individuals from different.
It was 3 weeks ago or 4.
Yes.
Right.
I noticed they have somebody from the Consumer Protection Division office. Did all of a sudden do they care about high interest rates? Is that what they're? What do you think that's what they're here to talk about today?
I have no idea what
They've never mentioned that to you at all, have they?
No.
Okay.
We're going to be calling them up so you can ask directly.
Okay, that's fair. The loans require little identity verification, they say. Is that true or not true?
We require 2 forms of ID, social or I-10, or a lot of times, look, well, sure.
Our identity verification process is pulled directly from CIP guidance, BSA law. Our identity verification process mirrors every commercial bank I've ever worked at and every one that you've dealt with. We have the same regulations regarding identity verification that any bank has, and we follow those to the letter, sir.
Yeah, it's also, my colleague just suggested to me, that's what we require to get people to vote, is 2 forms of ID. You know, also in this letter, it suggests that this form of real estate development and financing is an attractive opportunity for non-citizens to cross the border and settle in Texas. It looks to me like just a lot of hyperbole, just a lot of, political hype in this particular letter. I mean, are you advertising in Mexico?
No, and to that point specifically, there's nothing that we offer. Because as Craig mentioned, we sell a lot of land in pre-development. If you can't move on to it, it's just a piece of dirt. If you just came to this country and presumably you don't have the money to do it. I mean, as much as we've tried to make it easy, it's still customers pay to own the property. They start off with $500 down to us, but before they can move there, they pay water and sewer taps, they pay for a culvert, and presumably they've got to have a home there if they clear the lot. I mean, they're still looking at $10,000 or $15,000 to just make the lot ready, and then they either move a mobile home or something. A lot of these lots are not 90% of these lots are restricted. All of them are restricted in some way, but some are very lax, as you might have seen some pictures or whatever. But
they make some wholesale accusations here that don't seem to be reflective of the House committee that heard the same evidence. They make an accusation that development has proved unmanageable for effective law enforcement. True or not true?
I think that the law enforcement guys here can answer that better, but okay. I think that's easy. I think it'll be obvious when we talk to those guys.
In your opinion?
Not true.
Okay. Violent crime? Not true?
Not true.
Drug trafficking that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of.
Environmental deterioration? That's the first time I hear the Attorney General's office really care about that, but environmental deterioration?
No.
Tremendous public disturbances, anything more than any other neighborhood?
No, sir.
Infrastructure overuse. You mentioned that you build roads to the specs that the county requires, correct?
We actually do more than that. We build concrete streets where the asphalt is cheaper, but we know that in Liberty County we're going to maintain it for 2 years, and we also know that the road powers that we have with our MD is we use that to assist the county.
If I could for a second, Senator, we're going to be talking about the road powers with the muds, but you're using rolled concrete, I think, as a method.
That is correct.
Right. All right, which is probably above the current county spec, I would believe.
It's a unique product. We had to get them to create a spec for it, but it is more expensive and hardier than regular asphalt roads.
Okay, go ahead, Senator.
Thank you, sir. Unaccountable leaders of a city that is inhabited by an unknown population, including unvetted foreign aliens. Well, first off, it's not your job to vet anybody, but at the end of the day, I mean, this whole letter just seems just replete with racist language, like foreign aliens. I mean, does that concern you, just as a citizen of the United States? That a member of government would use such a letter?
I'm confused about a lot of things that happen in government, Senator.
Yeah, so am I. Mr. Harris, it seems to me like you've done something that most Americans want to do, which is try to help yourself and your family and develop, this community in the right way. And it seems like these people have done, the people that are living there are simply doing, it's clear that they're a largely Hispanic population and simply doing what we want them to do, to live the American dream, and trying to do that for themselves and their children. And so thank you very much for your time. I look forward to hearing from